And we're not going to go too much down memory lane because we're going to do that more probably just afterwards when we put some of the sausage on the fire. But one of the other memories I have is doing clinics as a very small, it was Rindus, I must have been about 3 as well. And driving through those beautiful, you get these amazing, Herman, can you just turn the sound down a touch please? Sorry, I just got an echo. Thank you. You have these amazing, the landscape there is beautiful. In some parts very similar to here, and in some parts a little bit more lush. And you would quite often, we would go to some of these clinics, and I was too small to really realize all of it, but just driving these 2 little tracks just through the bush, and I remember that once we stopped and we made a little fire from leaves, mupani leaves. I think it was mupani leaves.
Which kindles easily.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, since then I've made lots of fires with it. It just burns, it's got a bit of turpentine basically in the leaves. And made a little fire and probably just brought a little bit of horse or something, and again, I must have been just, I was too small to climb into the car myself yet. So yeah, I think a lot of these things, I know a lot of these things stem from early days and more recent ones as well. On the drive back, I don't know if you guys heard, you were just getting into your room still. I told the story of where you were in the Land Cruiser coming out to look for myself and Rory, where they'd been lost in the Hoop Valley. So the story is still continuing, and trust me, there'll still be many more of them together. So it's not something that has just happened when I was a youngster. It's something that has certainly grown, and like the friendship has grown. So. Yeah.
Talking about the fire, if I may comment.
You may say whatever you want to. Except
we love fires, and we're always fighting in a good way, probably in a nice sense, and kind of racing. If we stop somewhere to camp, who's going to make the fire? And since I'm getting older, he's quicker than me. But one of the things I tried to teach him, the drag, when he was young, was to make a neat fire, and I'm very happy to see this. It's a nice fire. A fire must be something that you must be proud of. It must not be a big, dirty, and no one should throw anything in a fire except onion peels, of course. Yeah, and that's it. But Peter, so I'm glad you're still making neat fires. It's a beautiful fire tonight.
I still love love fires. And maybe, and we sort of had a rough plan what we're going to talk about, but in the end it's not, we can just talk about what comes along. And I've said this story before as well. My very, very, very first night at Wild Earth was September 2006. It was almost, what month are we in now? September now, yeah, 2 years ago, sorry, the days and the months. 2 years ago, and we came out here, and we still stayed at another place. And the first thing I did that afternoon, I just met Graham and them as well, and I went up and I packed a few rocks in a circle outside. There wasn't a proper fireplace, and made a fire. And that for me was a big part of just being back in the Lowveld. There's a lot of things that are very specific to the Lowveld. My father actually grew up in this area, not too far from here. He still knows how to say Ahe Kunjani and a couple of the basic Shangaan words. Waar is het seer? I'm sure. Where does it hurt? Cough a little bit. So he was from this area, so we came here often as kids to Kruger. And the first night I was back here, we made a fire, and I could smell the smell of this lovely wood combritum, and was back in the Lowveld. And I've still got the SMS my dad sent me saying, I forgot the exact words, but saying, joy to be back in the bush, be back in the Lowveld. It's a special place. So, yeah, it is special to have both of us here. There was one other question that was a good one. Yeah, and I'm quite interested to hear how that's answered as well. I'm talking too much. I'm going to give a quick background, just so my dad doesn't have to explain too much. But obviously after school, especially in South Africa and Namibia to a large extent, there's some expectations just almost on a cultural, social level of what you should do after school. If you have certain abilities, you should maybe go and study to become a doctor or a lawyer or something. And I opted in the end to go travel for a while, and then decided to go and become a guide and live in the bush, because I always dreamt of doing it. I thought maybe for a year or two. And first of all, my dad supported me through all of this, which means a lot. And I'm sort of answering his question for him. So the question is, Miranda, what was your reaction, father, to me saying I want to go live in the bush and I don't want to study anymore? I spent 1 year at Stellenbosch University and decided
doing what again?
At Stellenbosch.
Yeah, what did you do again? You remember?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Accounting. And
no, I was doing business, business accounting.
And he actually, I thought in doing something like that with you, and he came back to me and he said, Papa, I'm not happy with this. I don't like it. It's not for me. And I probably did many things in my life which wasn't always nice and good for me. Well, not necessarily good, but nice for me. And I thought, well, and I'm proud of this, that all my children are kind of, I'm not sure if this is the right word, but free spirits. They can decide for themselves, they can do what they want, and whatever they do, I think it's important for a parent to support them. And whether you like it or not, it's not my life, it's his life. And yeah, I was actually happy with it. I didn't think there was a big fortune to be made from wildlife, although I still hope he can support me when I get older. But yes, I supported him wholeheartedly, and I gave him all the support I could, and I encouraged him, and I know that whatever he wants to do, he will do good. And it makes me proud of what you're doing today. And I've seen some of the emails, and again, you know, people ask me or tell me that I'm proud, I should be proud of him, and so on and so on, and I am. It's a privilege to have a son like him. You can trust him. I don't mind if, since he was small, since he went to university, I could have trusted him, and he never, as far as I know, drink too much, or smoke bad stuff, and things like that. So he can do what he wants, and as long as he knows and believes in what he's doing, and as long as he's got a dream, this is the important thing for me. And I think he lives it on the moment. That's very few people can do that.
Well, thank you. I'm not going to say anything more to that. It's yeah, it's a pleasure and a privilege as always to have you here as well, and to introduce you to my father, and to hear my father say a few things which I always appreciate. So I think we're going to say goodnight.
Yeah,
we've got a fire to stand around, and my dad's going to end off with something, because he's always got something to say afterwards, like I do.
Yeah.
Rambling is something that I didn't just come up with.
You can have the last word, but I just want to say, you disappointed me once, and that was tonight. When I got here and I took out my bottle of red wine, there was no opener.
I'm going to show you a trick just now.
I'm very
live.
disappointed.
Well, guys, we're going to have a drink around the fire and talk some more about all kinds of things. And yeah, thank you very much. It's a bit of a special occasion, more than a bit of a one. It's a massive special occasion, and it's just nice to introduce you to someone else that's close to me. And yeah, that's it. Good night. See you tomorrow morning. It might rain tonight. The wind has just died down. Maybe it's giving us enough time to have a bit of a time around the fire. And we'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early, 6 o'clock. And I look forward to the morning drive as always. Good night.
Cheers.